Hey everybody. Well, we're going to be doing a channel first and making our foray into vintage here. And so we're going to be playing some vintage CounterVine. So the way this works, we use Bazaar of Baghdad to fuel the deck. You know, you can use Serum Powder to get free mulligans. Then we discard Squee, Goblin, Nabob, and Master of Death. And then you just beat down with creatures, and we have a whole bunch of Force of Wills. And based on some preliminary testing, it all seems more powerful than you would expect. I'm playing a pretty stock list here. I kind of want to play more copies of Pyrokinesis, but Fury does trigger the Vengevines, which can be important. So anyway, I'm basically playing the stock CounterVine list, and we're going to try it out here, so let's go. All right, so we've won the die roll. And we do not have Bazaar of Baghdad, but we do have a powder, Serum Powder. So let's do that. We still don't have Bazaar of Baghdad. We have Bazaar of Baghdad. All right, so the opponent keeps on 6, and I have to put 1 card back. So I think it's pretty obvious we're putting back a Blazing Rootwalla. And then we're going to draw 2, discard 3, play like a Chalice on 0 and a hollow 1, and a Blazing Rootwalla. I mean, I'd like the second Blazing Rootwalla, but I want Force and Chalice. And we're on the play here. If I was on the draw, maybe I'd put back the Chalice. So I'm going to go ahead and activate Bazaar of Baghdad. So Master of Death, Blazing Rootwalla, the Force of Vigor. We'll get the Blazing Rootwalla into play here. Play the Chalice on 0. And play the hollow 1. The opponent plays a basic mountain and passes. It's not really what I was expecting. I thought that my opponent might actually be on CounterVine. And I was going to regret this Chalice of the Void. But it looks like they are not on CounterVine. So this could be a situation where we hold off on the Bazaar activation. And I think I don't hate that. Like, I just don't know if this Wasteland is good or not. And so we'll get some more information here. But we've got a fine clock. And maybe we need to pitch this Master of Death to a Force. Like if we need to Force twice. Well, they're on the old double basic mountain in vintage, so I can't imagine what that means. But we'll discard these Masters of Death and this Vengevine. It's pretty straightforward. Let's yield to these triggers. Yes. All right, we have some Masters of Death. We have Force of Vigor. I guess I'm going to go ahead and activate Bazaar here. I don't really mind discarding the Wastelands and Force of Vigors. You know, now I regret not waiting. I guess I'm going to discard like this and then play the other Bazaar. And if they don't do something we need to Force twice, then we'll activate this other Bazaar. But I think it's actually smarter just to hold off there. Where we kind of want these Masters of Death in hand to pitch to Force. Okay, so my opponent looks like they're on some kind of Goblins. So I think I'm just going to Force a Will this. Pitching the Force of Negation. I assume they don't Force back. And then we're going to activate this other Bazaar of Baghdad. And I guess I'll keep a Mindbreak Trap. It would be nice to get this game ended, but we can probably only deal 9 damage. without getting very lucky by getting a Vengevine into play. All right, so we're going to, return some Masters of Death. Draw for the turn. Pretty easy, I think, to fire off this first Bazaar activation. And I guess I am definitely going for 2 here. Dang, we're just not going to be able to quite get these Vengevines into play. All right, I guess I'm discarding Masters of Death. I could put Sticker Goblin on top of my opponent's library, but I don't think that really helps. And I'm keeping this Basking Rootwalla so that if we do get another turn, we have a good shot at getting these Vengevines into play. But they do need to kill us this turn. But it looks like this vintage Goblins deck maybe plays Conspicuous Snoop. There's some crazy loop involving this. Maybe we'll see it happen. I think what you want to do is get Kiki Jiki on top of your library so you can make infinite Conspicuous Snoop so it targets itself. And then you need to make your Conspicuous Snoop into a Mog Fanatic. And then sacrifice all your copies. I think that's what they want to do to win this turn. Well, the opponent has an Ancient Tomb, and they've got a name sticker. So hopefully they end up walking into a Mindbreak Trap here. Or maybe they're just going to play Muxus. And that'll be the game. That would be unfortunate. All right, well, the opponent's going with a Magus of the Moon. And I guess I can't answer it, but it does bode well for this Mindbreak Trap getting some action. A Simian Spirit Guide. So is this what I'm going to Mindbreak Trap? Yeah, I guess so. Because otherwise they can double block my hollow one. I think I am going to be returning these. Yeah, there's a good chance that Bazaar of Baghdad's going to be active again here. Yeah, it definitely is. Because they have to block, and I get to, another Bazaar. I'm going to get to pump up the Basking Rootwalla here. And they do have to block both because they're at 3 life. And this is going to be a 3-1 if I pump it up. Okay, the opponent concedes. So on the draw here, I'm thinking Fawns, Chalice, and Mental Misstep out. I don't think they played that many pieces of power. And then I don't think they really played that many 1-drops either. It's the Sticker Goblins that I'm worried about. I think I need Force of Vigor for Leyline of the Void. Mindbreak Trap can potentially do something. I wouldn't mind having the 3rd Mindbreak Trap, but I think Pyrokinesis and Fury have to be better. So I think I'm just going to run it like this. Well, this hand has Bazaar of Baghdad, so I'm keeping. But we're going to get to play double Hollow Vine and maybe have Pyrokinesis up, so that seems solid enough. All right, the opponent's on the old basic Mountain Pass. And I'm just going to play Bazaar and activate here. So we do get to put Vengevine into play this turn. I could keep this Force of Vigor in hand. But I don't think I need to... Well, I could not... I could keep Force of Vigor plus Basking Rootwalla in hand if I want to discard Strip Mine or Bazaar of Baghdad. And maybe that's worthwhile. Maybe it's worth hedging my bet here in discarding the Strip Mine. because the one Basking Rootwalla doesn't matter that much. Okay. So let's play a hollow one. And let's play a hollow one. Let's get our Vengevine back. The opponent has surgicals for my Vengevines. Alright, well I think we can live with that. Alright, so my Vengevines are exiled. My opponent knows what we have in hand. We also have 8 power on board though. So they have a City of Traders here. So I wonder if they have the Sticker Goblin. Or if it's just a moon effect. Okay, well they're pitching a Fury. That doesn't, I don't mind trading my hollow 2-for-1 like this. So is it like some kind of moon follow-up here? A 3-sphere. Okay, well, you know, that actually is pretty good. It's going to be hard to make 3 mana. I do get to attack with my hollow one. So what can I do here? I can put Poxwalkers into play. I don't really see how I'm going to get to Force of Vigor. But I guess Force of Negation is going to be better than Force of Vigor is what we've learned here. It's going to be hard to get, yeah, Poxwalker into play, huh? Because I can't Rootwalla, so this hollow one kind of has to go the distance. I'm just going to discard a Rootwalla and make sure it's not going to let me play it for some reason. Yeah, it is not. Okay. Yep. And I guess, you know, I think I didn't play my second Bazaar of Baghdad there, and that was probably foolish. But I don't really know what I'm looking for here, I guess, other than mana. I guess I'm gonna Bazaar again. I see there's a Poxwalker, but I just don't have any way to play it. Okay, the opponent taps 3 mana for a Mox Ruby. I guess I'll get my Master of Death back. There's a Squee. I'll just discard this Basking Rootwalla. I guess I don't see the need to Bazaar again here. Either we're going to get across the finish line with this hollow one or not. Okay, the opponent's playing 3 mana for a Chrome Mox here, so their last card in hand, like, basically is like guaranteed to be Muxus. I mean, I guess I could have Bazaar to get on their end step. Okay, well, this Wasteland is really good, because that's going to keep them off Muxus. So, you know, I guess I should have been thinking about that. If they have, like, another city in hand, it is what it is. Well, we're still learning how Vintage works here, folks. Okay, the opponent just does nothing, so Wasteland was clutch there. I should have been thinking about how Wasteland wasn't out against City of Traders, though, but yeah, that was a bit of an unusual situation, but yeah, we're still learning. All right, so we've got a crazily good hand to kick it off here with Force into Basking Rootwalla and Poxwalker and Hollow One. So that's good. Mox Sapphire from the opponent, Mox Jet from the opponent, Lotus Petal from the opponent, and they're passing. Okay. A Vengevine. Okay. I'm just going to be trying to activate here. I don't know if they have something crazy. So I'm discarding Vengevine, Master of Death. No, we're keeping Master of Death. Poxwalkers. And a Blazing Rootwalla, right? Yeah. And then we're going to play Hollow One, and that'll trigger the Vengevine. All right. Poxwalker's in. Blazing Rootwalla is in. I guess I'm going to get this Chalice on 0 in. I mean, the opponent's dumped out most of their mana. But we kind of have extra cards in hand. If they are like on a paradoxical outcome, they won't be able to redeploy their Moxen until they deal with a Chalice. Anyway, so we've put 12 power on the board, 4 of it hasty. We got Force of Will back up here. A Mystical Tutor. Okay. A Mystical Tutor for Show and Tell. So what I might do here is Noxious Revival the Mystical Tutor back on top of their deck. And then that's like a time walk, right? Because then they just have to Mystical Tutor again. I guess maybe it would have been smarter to do that on their upkeep. So they have a Wasteland here. I mean, that's good for them. But we have enough power on board to win the game. And we ripped another Bazaar of Baghdad. I guess I might as well play it and activate it because we're going to be able to keep 2 cards. The Force and the Master of Death. And it's possible that we could somehow go the distance here. So we'll just discard the Master of Death since we got a different blue card and play this Basking Rootwalla. And then we're going to be all in on forcing this Show and Tell. So here's the Show and Tell. It's got to be a Traxa in one other card, right? I guess unless it's Flusterstorm. Okay, I think we got there. So it's pretty obviously like a Bug Oath build. So on the draw against Bug Oath, I do want the Karakas. So this isn't really a Mindbreak Trap matchup. But Chalice of the Void is a little weak on the draw. So I could just keep one Mindbreak Trap. That's probably fine. I mean, there's a chance that they might like Mox Oath. All right, well, this hand does not like answer a turn 1 Oath, but it has Bazaar of Baghdad, so I think I just have to keep. And the opponent is mulliganing, so I like that. The opponent's on Tropical Island Pass. What am I drawing? Bazaar of Baghdad. So I could Wasteland their Tropical Island here. I think I actually like it. And then we can Noxious Revival and Wasteland again. Now, if they go like land Mox Oath here, it's going to be rough. Okay, so they resolve this Brainstorm. They play Wasteland. Okay. So I could Noxious Revival back my Wasteland. It's kind of a show of weakness here that they've... I mean, they're Brainstorm locked now, and they've just played Wasteland. I think I'm actually going to do it. Yeah. They're going to Mental Misstep. Okay. Well, opponent, I've got bad news. All right, here's the Wasteland. And now we're going to see how Brainstorm locked our opponent is. Very Brainstorm locked, it would seem. Nice, and now we get to start doing our thing here. So we'll discard Squee, Master of Death. No, we're not discarding Master of Death. That's our blue card. We'll just put some Rootwallas into play. One Rootwalla. Two Rootwalla. Get this hollow one out. Pass the turn. All right, the opponent does have that Tabernacle, but we're going to have our Bazaar engine going on, and they don't have any mana, so I'm not like super worried about this. We'll find a Wasteland eventually, and we're going to be drawing tons of cards in the meanwhile. Poxwalkers. Okay, so we'll discard Squee, Poxwalkers. See, I kind of don't want to discard the Master of Death, because it's still my only blue card. So I could play this Karakas just to keep the Poxwalkers around. Whoops, I misclicked. All right, I'm just going to play the Bazaar. That Poxwalkers is going to come back. But if we don't Force of Will here, we're going to Bazaar of Baghdad on the opponent's end step. What do I want here more? Mental Misstep or Karakas? Mental Misstep is a blue card, is the thing. And I'm just going to try to not let them put a giant legend into play. Like if they show Intel, it's going to maybe mean a Sarah Emissary anyway that we cannot work our magic on. It cannot be Karakas, the Sarah Emissary, as a non-legend. That's what I'm trying to say. Here's a Wasteland. So what do I want more? Their Bazaar of Baghdad, or their Tabernacle, or their Forbidden Orchard? I guess I can Bazaar of Baghdad. Okay, looks like we're going to be able to get everything we want. I guess I just discard the Noxious Revival. And yeah, I guess I'm going to Wasteland them off the Forbidden Orchard on their upkeep here. All right, here's the Wasteland. Another one, okay. Does this change what I want to do at all? I really don't want them to resolve Oath of Druids. Okay, we had to deal with some lag there and I had to reboot. Here we go. Okay, another Squee. So what do I want to do here? I guess I want to activate Bazaar of Baghdad. So we have double force. So maybe I'm just going to strip mine the Tabernacle and get these Poxwalkers into play. I don't want to sit around forever All right, we got Blazing Rootwalla, Poxwalkers on the stack. We're gonna strip mine. I guess I can strip mine on their upkeep here. And we're gonna hold up double force here and hope that that is good. Wow, they're not even oathing. So I think I can afford to activate Bazaar here and discard the other Master of Death and get this Vengevine in the graveyard. And 2 Bazaars is probably enough card draw. So we're gonna get back a bunch of things, draw force, that's cool. Okay. I just don't have a green card to pitch to this Force of Vigor. But man, system is lagging here. Okay, there it goes. Attack for 4. Opponent is just passing into their turn. A Mox Jet, sure, you can have that one. Or so are we gonna show and tell here? Yes, we are. So we get a spirit token. And I guess I'm gonna force pitching force. They're gonna force back. I'm gonna force back. I guess I have to lose the mental misstep. I guess that's okay. All right, we didn't even have to use the 3rd force. Then we get to Bazaar one more time for free, basically. Because we get the Master of Death back anyway. Blazing Rootwalla is in. You get to recoup some card draw here. Or some card disadvantage. I don't know what to call it. It's good though. Yeah, Force of Will is like a nut draw. We're in a similar position as last time. We have double force back up here. And this is 6 damage, so they're going to be dead next turn. So they play a land, so they just have 2 cards that we got to worry about, and we have 2 Force of Wills. So we get a Spirit token. We're going to force this Oko. And that's the game. All right, on the play for game 3. This hand does not have Bazaar of Baghdad, so I'm going to mulligan. This one doesn't either, so I'm going to mulligan. This hand has Bazaar of Baghdad, so I'm going to keep. What do I want to put back here? I think I'm just going to put back the Rootwallas. I think that Wasteland has potentially more upside. I mean, if I had a Vengevine, I would certainly keep the Bazaars. Or the Rootwallas. But I guess I'm going to go ahead and activate here. And discard the Master of Death, Serum Powder. Now, Noxious Revival is almost better than Wasteland. Yeah, maybe I should have waited on this Bazaar activation. Especially since I put back the 2 Rootwallas. Because what I could do is make it the smarter decision between Wasteland and Noxious Revival. I guess I'm going to have to hold on. Like, if we get Wastelanded, it's just an absolute beating here, so I have to keep the Noxious Revival. So maybe the opponent will Wasteland us. But we are hoping to fade Urza's Saga. Okay. I'll just do this right now. I guess I should do it on their end step. We did the right thing, lads. And I think, well, we know our opponent plays Wasteland. Do I just want to chill on this? Probably, I think. If they play like a Mox, maybe I'll do it in response to a Fate of Bowmaster. All right, another Wasteland. Wow, we got there. Again. So I think I'm going to be discarding forces here. Because I want to get a hollow one into play. And yeah, we can't like Noxious Revival this Bazaar of Baghdad and hold up Force of Will. This Noxious Revival is hilarious. It's absolutely broken in this deck. You gotta love it. We'll discard some things. Get the hollow one out. Now we're beating down. Chrome Mox from the opponent. So what does that mean? I guess we're about to find out. Okay, so it looks like it's an initiative deck. A Trinisphere. The old 3-sphere strikes again. Well, that's going to be hard to get out from under. But Wasteland is like our best draw, for sure. As we learned in our previous game against the old 3-sphere. But we do not get there, sadly. We cannot play the Rootwalla because it costs 3. All right, so the opponent has an Anointed Peacekeeper, which is notably smaller than our hollow one. So they're probably good. If they're smart here, they'll name Wasteland, though. Oh, they named Bazaar of Baghdad, obviously. That's probably better than Wasteland. Okay, well, they have Wasteland. Well, if we can just top deck a Wasteland somehow. I really don't see the point in paying the life in the Master of Death. I guess if the opponent were to block here, but I'm sure they would end up Wastelanding the Bazaar. Opponent is doing nothing so far, but they are getting in for 3. Yeah. They must have a follow-up here, right? Oh, man, they're up to 5 mana. Alluring of the Third Path. Okay. Yeah, that's going to be pretty devastating. I think the good news is we're going to be dead soon. So, yeah, I mean, I can Wasteland them off some mana here. But they can just attack for 5 twice, and I don't think we can get a creature into play. All right, here's an Adventurer to really stick the dagger in. And yeah, I mean, we just cannot activate Bazaar of Baghdad. Yeah, we cannot. All right, yeah, they got it. All right, so I guess this is what an initiative list looks like. And so I guess they don't play the Leyline of the Void, but they do play Containment Priest. And it is just a 1 of Trinisphere that I have to worry about. I forget that's not Legacy where there's 4 Trinispheres. Thankfully. Okay. So I guess I think this is probably not a Force of Vigor matchup. And it's not a Mental Misstep matchup. Now, is it like a Karakas matchup? And is it a Mindbreak Trap matchup? I mean, they probably are trying to do some turn 1 shenanigans. Like play something big and meaty on turn 1 off some Moxes. So I think I'm gonna maybe just board out the Force of Negations and ball that they do not have another Trinisphere, or that if they do, I can Force a Will it. Otherwise, you know, it's a bunch of like containment priests I think I have to worry about. All right, let's try this. So our opening hand does not have Bazaar of Baghdad. So I'm gonna mulligan. And this has a powder keg. So we're gonna take advantage of a powder mulligan. Which card do I want to keep in my deck? Like Hollow One, or Chalice of the Void, or maybe Pyrokinesis? I guess Pyrokinesis. All right, this hand has Bazaars. Well, a Bazaar at any rate. So the opponent's on that Chancellor. And they kept 7. Okay. So I'm going to play Bazaar of Baghdad here. I don't really anticipate drawing 2 Rootwallas to trigger this Vengevine. And I do want to keep up my options here with Force of Will. So I'm going to pass. A Mana Crypt, okay? A Cavern of Souls. So players can only play 1 spell each turn. Okay? That's going to make it hard to Vengevine. True. So I'm going to discard the Poxwalker, the Vengevine, and the Squee. And so my Wasteland's going to enter the battlefield tapped. But I don't think that's a huge problem. Maybe I should have discarded the Master of Death there. Here's a Fury. So do I want to Fury this Archon? Yeah, I think I do. It seems pretty likely. Oh, I can't, the Chancellor, of course. Well, that was unfortunate. At least Force of Will is on now. All right, what do I want to discard? Master of Death. Is Wasteland even good here? Okay. All right, so they win their Mana Crypt flip. They get in for 2. They have a Strip Mine. That's bad news. I wish I had a Noxious Revival. I will get back my Master of Death. Poxwalker. Okay. So we're taking another attack from the Archon, going to 15. Opponent has another Cavern. That's pretty rough. All right, that's probably going to close out the game here. So it can't be countered, so it's in. I mean, if I rip Bazaar of Baghdad right here, then maybe we could make some magic happen. But we don't. All right, they're going to juice the Archon, so it can't be Furied. So I don't think I had a chance to really get rid of that Chancellor trigger so that I could meaningfully Fury. Although I would still have the Squee around, but another White Plume. Okay, so they go into the trap here. I mean, I guess I'll take one more draw. I mean, I suppose it... well, I really cannot play the 2 creatures to trigger the Vengevine. But I'll take one more draw anyway. Okay. All right, GG. All right, so we're going to be on the play for round 4. I'm going to mulligan this hand that doesn't have Bazaar. The old quad Noxious Revival hand. We mulligan that one 2. We're going to mulligan this one 3. All right, this hand has some Bazaars. So we're on 4 cards here. So probably Force of Vigor has to go. I guess Wasteland has to go. And I guess probably Force of Will has to go. Or maybe just Vengevine has to go. I could either keep Force of Will and like hold up with the Master of Death. I guess I could bottom the hollow one actually. And that lets me hold up Force of Will. Okay. I think I can... Maybe I can see this working. And we'll either... oh, man, another Chancellor. That's bad news. Yeah, the mono-white initiative, a bit of a problem here. Maybe... In light of all that, I'm just supposed to slam the Bazaar activation. What's this going to be? Artifacts your opponent's control into the battlefield tapped. Okay, I'm just going to Bazaar in response. So I can't Force of Will here anyway. The Master of Death and the Vengevine are going, and yeah, I guess Force of Will is going here. And I guess ironically I would have got there with the Vengevine. Okay, lots of options here. So we're discarding Poxwalkers. Blazing Rootwalla. And I guess the Masters of Death. And then we'll get a Blazing Rootwalla countered here. So we're declining the trigger off the Chancellor. We get a Poxwalker. I guess I could have used Wasteland to pay for the Blazing Rootwalla, but I don't think that matters. And, okay. All right, well, we got revenge, at least in one game here, against the old mono-white initiative. And we were about to Wasteland their Karakas. All right, so I think that this is the sideboarding I did last time. Yeah, Force of Negation and Force of Vigor not looking that hot. I guess just on the draw, I have to take my chances with Mindbreak Trap. So I'm going to run it back. I mean, I don't hate the idea of Force of Vigoring some of their mana sources. But I also like the idea of maybe being able to Mindbreak Trap them if they play a couple mana sources and then something. All right, so I'm mulliganing this non-Bazaar hand. I'm keeping this Bazaar hand. And yeah, we're going to throw back a powder here. I mean, we don't have any interaction, so there's a lot of ways that this could go wrong, but what are you going to do? Okay, yeah, they have the old Plains Black Lotus start, so I'm bracing for impact here. Creatures can't attack you or planeswalkers you control unless their controller pays 1 for each of those creatures. Okay. So we just need to draw an answer to that. So that is really, I think, really not very scary, to be honest. I'm going to play Bazaar. I'm going to activate Bazaar. Okay. So we're discarding Poxwalkers. And Serum Powder. Or do I guess getting the Chalice on 0 into play is something I might as well do. And I'm going to discard the Basking Rootwalla because we have Furies and Pyrokinesis that we want to cast. So this will dissolve the Chancellor trigger. No. But we do get a Poxwalker into play. It's not completely insignificant. We're going to get this Chalice on 0 out, maybe slow the opponent down a bit, and get this Hollow One out. The opponent's just going to pass here. Well, they're going to attack for 3. That makes sense. And yeah, I just can't attack them until we find an answer. Squee is a good one. It makes it easy to Bazaar right here. What do I want to do? Discard Squee. I guess just discard Blazing Rootwallas. I mean, I can Noxious Revival Black Lotus to time walk my opponent thanks to this Chalice. All right, I guess we're doing this. And I'm playing out another Bazaar. And I just need to... I mean, I guess I'm gonna... okay. I mean, it does work the way I thought it did. And I'm just gonna hold up on this Bazaar here, and we just gotta find one of our many Pyroclasm effects. But my opponent is into... powerful 3-mana dude territory, so that's a little unfortunate. So we are taking these beats here. Okay, they did nothing. So now is our big chance to find a Fury, which we did. So we get this Squee back, draw a card, another Fury. Yeah, I'm just going to do the Fury. Ooh, the opponent concedes. All right, revenge against Mono White Initiative. I guess they had not much else going on there. All right, on the draw for round 5, the opponent's revealing a Lurrus, and this hand does not have Bazaar of Baghdad, so I'm going to mulligan. And this hand doesn't have Bazaar of Baghdad either, so I'm going to mulligan. This hand does have a Powder. What do I want to keep? Squee. And Hollow One. Those are pretty powerful. Maybe just Master of Death, since we're mulliganing pretty low. Show me a Bazaar. Okay, I'm gonna Powder. Okay. Gonna keep. It's really not the worst 5. But those Powders doing their job, letting us take 2 free mulligans there to find this Bazaar of Baghdad. Okay. So the opponent preordained 1 to the top, 1 to the bottom. This Poxwalker is really a pretty great draw. We're gonna get to discard Basking Rootwalla. Poxwalkers. Ooh, what do I want to do here? Do I want to discard the Chalice and play 2 Hollow Ones? I mean, the opponent probably played all the Moxen that they have, right? Although Lurrus, I guess I'm probably in a bit of a control spot. I'm going to have plenty of power anyway. Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Chalice here, or keep the Chalice rather than put... Or if I discard the Chalice, though, I do get to have 16 power on the board. I get to have 12 power on the board, which is a 2-turn clock. All right, I think I'm going to discard the Chalice. And just try to get this over with. Like, how many more 0-drops can the opponent really have here? Okay, I'm gonna try it. We'll see. So Poxwalkers comes in. Rootwalla is in. Hollow one. Another one. The opponent wants to Ancestral Recall here. Yeah, I guess I'm going to force. The opponent conceded. So I'm a little bit unsure about like what it means that my opponent's playing like a Grixis Saga deck. Although it looks like someone just top 8'd or got a league with yeah, this one plays the Volcanic Island, so it's probably this, right? So Orcish Bowmasters, maybe Dark Confidant. But they are on Urza Saga, yeah, I'm sure. All right, well, usually what I do is I just board out Mindbreak Trap and bring in Pyrokinesis. And, I mean, they're not going to be on Lavinia, so I probably don't need the Karakas. Yeah, let's try this. All right, so this hand does not have Bazaar, but it does have a Serum Powder. And we find a Bazaar here, and we've got a Mental Misstep and some Force of Vigor, so that's all pretty cool. My opponent wants to Ragavan. Do I want to Mental Misstep this? I guess that's probably worth Mental Misstepping. Oh, it doesn't really matter too much. I think I'm just going to do it, though. I mean, it's pretty free, I think. And then do I want to test my opponent with Wasteland here or just play Bazaar? Because the thing is I can Noxious into Wasteland again. But I did draw this hollow one. I should probably just play the Bazaar, right? I mean, if my opponent's lacking on mana, I can just Wasteland them next turn. And this has gone to being bonkers again. So I guess I'll discard a Force of Vigor. And so we're putting 12 power on the board here. Well, I guess I could have not countered the Ragavan after all. Okay, and the opponent's ready to concede. All right, well, that was a nice 4-1 league. We did a lot of spanking, except for the one time we got spanked there. Yeah, so here were the matchups. Goblins, yeah, I don't know how good that is in Vintage. I was happy to beat Oath of Druids, which obviously wants to just play an Oath of Druids and ride that. Testing the opponent with Wasteland there, and the Noxious Revivals. I guess, we did get there. Kind of a crazy game when they get the Tabernacle out, but we had the crazy draw engine going. Yeah, we got killed by Mono White Initiative, but we got revenge. And then that Grixis Lurrus opponent wasn't able to put up too much in the way of an obstacle. So yeah, I guess, the list is just like crazily good. I haven't gotten to really use these Ravenous Traps, but Fury not being taxed by Thalia. I don't think the Mono White Initiative, they got to be boarding out Thalia against us, right? I don't know, maybe not, but it's also a non-creature spell for the Archon. I don't think that matters. I don't know. I kind of want to go up to 4 Pyrokinesis, but I don't know. I didn't create the list, but you can see how just landing Bazaars of Baghdad is crazily insane. And then sometimes you just tap Bazaar and draw the nuts, and that's the game. So, yeah, pretty cool. A nice 4-1 with CounterVine. I love playing Vintage, and I hope to keep doing it. All right, thanks, folks.